It broke up the world of Islam into bits and pieces. Like Pakistan today is not going to be the same tomorrow if they succeed. Maybe in another month or two the attack will come. Only Allah does not make mistakes, okay? But they want to attack Pakistan not only to destroy the nuclear plants and nuclear weapons, because Muslims are not supposed to have those kind of weapons. Only Israel, not Muslims. And since Pakistan does possess nuclear weapons and nuclear plants, that's why they have to invade it and destroy it. And they want to get a civil war going in Pakistan, so you can use that as an excuse. But when they're finished with that, and given the pathetic state of the leadership, not the men in the ranks of the armed forces, the leadership, they look to me like Zionists in Pakistan, and the political leadership as well. Not the people love Islam. It seems to me that this kind of pathetic leadership that Pakistan has had all these years makes it possible for them, the enemy, to succeed with their plans. But they want to do more than that. They want to break up Egypt into bits and pieces. Break up Pakistan into bits and pieces. Because it's easier then for India to establish its hegemony over the bits and pieces. They want to do the same thing with Egypt. Attack Egypt from this side, Israel. Attack Egypt from that side. Which side? There used to be a man in Libya who opposed the Zionists. I don't know if you remember him. And they took Muslims, and they deceived these Muslims, and they made an alliance with these Muslims, and these are the fellows who are now in charge. To make an alliance with NATO, Zionist NATO, to overthrow this leader and this government in Libya. So that Libya is now under NATO control. So when they're ready, NATO will attack Egypt from the west and break up Egypt into bits and pieces. The whole Arab world is going to be attacked like that. Why? Because they want to rule the world. And they decolonized after they had put in place the political institutions, the economic institutions like banking, the monetary institutions like the bogus and fraudulent and utterly haram paper currency that we now have, all of us. And only after they had put these in place did they decolonize with the certainty now that they can continue to rule by proxy. P-R-O-X-Y. Come on, give me the Bahasa word for proxy. He's searching in his pocket now. Proxy. Huh? By proxy. Wakil. Wakil. Okay. By proxy. In consequence of their success in replacing the Khilafah with the modern republican secular state, Dajjal brought into the world a new world order. How did Islamic scholarship respond? We don't have time tonight to look at the economic response. We don't have time tonight to look at the monetary response. We don't have time tonight to look at the educational response, the institutions of educational studies. We're talking about the political response in terms of political philosophy. The most significant response that came out of the world of Islamic scholarship came from India. An Indian scholar named Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, a man of eminent scholarship. I consider him to be my teacher, although I never met him. I was born many years after his death. Dr. Iqbal is a towering scholar of Islam, worthy of profound respect. And he took on Western scholarship, that scientific method that we spoke about earlier, that if it did not come from observation and from scientific experimentation, it's not knowledge. It belongs to a place in Orlando called Disneyland. He took on this Western, I'm going to use a big word now, he challenged this Western epistemology, or the branch of knowledge which studies knowledge. He challenged it in a profound response, the best that was ever penned by any scholar of Islam. In the first 2 chapters of his book entitled The Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam, but I suggest that you go to the pharmacy and buy a bottle of Tylenol tablets if you want to read that book. It's not easy. As a master's degree student in philosophy, I had to study that book. I read it 20 times without understanding it. And only when I studied Surah Al-Kahf of the Quran, only then was I able to understand those first 2 chapters of Iqbal.